food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is paired right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now at 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's KASAI Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up. You check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line move, and your bet rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sporttrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the Sporttrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinny wheels. Live bets on Sporttrade are instantly accepted. Download Sporttrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
Sporttrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue with its powerful PC turbo engine. Now, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. One of you.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer suggested retail price. Manufacturer suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Monday edition of the Daily Blender. It is 3 o'clock straight up as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Stock Radio. Also, the hardest working man at Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien's still out this week. He should be returning here, I think, this month. I think. Anyway, you are the fourth dimension texting in at 888-368-1580, and we've got lots planned for you today. Hour and a half program, and we're going to be talking football. Nothing but football from this entire weekend. Keon, good to see you. How was your weekend, my friend?
My weekend was going pretty well. I had a very good weekend. A lot of football was watched. A lot of games were enjoyed. It was a good time.
Yeah. Okay, and we have witnessed Jaden Daniels going up against Lamar Jackson for the first time. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. Again, our text line 888-368-1580. And that's how you get involved in the program. Hour and a half today. Jets and Bills coming to you live over most of these same radio stations because we are your place for primetime NFL football. We've got all the primetime games. We got the Sunday morning, Sunday night. We got Monday night. We got Thursday night. Hell's bells. We've got playoff. We've got Super Bowl 59 live from Caesar's Dome, and is that what they're calling it nowadays? Caesar's Dome in New Orleans. Is it that?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, but I
Dome for me. And a lot's happening, and we have it covered. Let's see. Donnie is on the text line at 888-368-1580 and says, what happens first? Jeffrey returns from vacation or the next Cardinals win? You know what, Donnie? Don't get cocky. Don't get cocky. I haven't bad mouthed Sam bobblehead Darnold. I haven't give you a hard time. Why do you want to pick on my team? Cardinals didn't win this past weekend, by the way. I guess we'll start there. I guess.
Yeah.
Look, it was over before it got started. I'm not going to lie. The Cardinals lost double digits to the Cheese Whiz there in Lambeau Field. 34-13 final score there. And not only that, but we lost our number one wide receiver.
That's the biggest loss, I think, more than the game itself.
I felt like that. Did you see the game at all? Did you watch the game at all?
I did, yeah.
Inconsistent, sloppy play by the Cardinals. Inconsistent, sloppy play. You guys can go ahead and blame Kyler Murray being too short and all that, blah, blah, blah. They did not look like they were ready to play. Their fundamentals broke down. The tackling broke down. Anderson Jr. broke down. Got a concussion in the third quarter.
It's hard to watch, and one of the things that really stinks is like you said, you could blame Kyler a lot if you want to, but it was a team disappointment. I was disappointed in the entire team, not just Kyler, though also Kyler, because I thought that there were ways that this offense could attack that defense, and the Packers knew what the Cardinals wanted to do, and the Cardinals didn't have a counter for that. And this is the first time in the Jonathan Gannon era where I saw a Cardinals team that didn't look ready to go. And that's beaten before. They've looked bad before. I mean, that's not new. Mm-hmm. But they at least showed up every game and they were ready to go. They were ready to work. And win, lose, or draw, they were going to fight you tooth and nail to the very end. This team gave up.
This team get absolutely no pressure on Jordan Love III. Absolutely no pressure on the quarterback for the Cheese Whiz. But yeah, what can I say? I can't say much. Cardinals lose, and it was sad to watch this team go out there in their Ohio State uniforms and lose this game. I thought this was a winnable game for the Cardinals. I really did. I thought, they have showed some impressive streaks. They've showed some great football in spurts this season against the 49ers. They came back from being down and won the game. They put the whammo on the whiny lambs from Hollywood, and then yesterday it didn't even look. They didn't even look ready to take on a Pop Warner team. I'll be honest with you.
Did not look good. 89 yards rushing, absolutely unacceptable for a team that's built around 89 yards. James Conner, seven carries.
What do they need to do, Keon, from this point on? I mean, this To me, this was the lowest of lows. This was a bad game by the Arizona Cardinals. Their defense did not play well. Jonathan Gannon's defense did not look like they were hungry. I just sigh. I don't know. I'm sad.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what
mean,
to say.
I don't know what else you are supposed to do. I mean, you got to get ready for the Chargers, I guess is what you're supposed to do. But that's not going to be a fun experience if you're not running the ball well against the Packers, who like are a solid run stopping team, but they're not the Chargers. The Chargers will absolutely stop you dead in your tracks if you're not ready to run the football with a level of physicality that the Cardinals need to have, because they establish everything they do through the run. And I just thought they got way too far away from running the football yesterday. They fell behind and immediately quit running the football, which is crazy to me because the week before they fell behind, but they stuck to the run, they gritted it out, and they were able to gut out a victory. This is the opposite of what they did a week ago, and it shows.
Seems like the culture that Gannon was trying to bring here, that tough, blue collar, hit you in the mouth sort of culture, has failed for the Arizona Cardinals. I know you've already talked about this today, but I wanted to get this out early. I wanted to get this out of the way early, and then you got Donnie. You got Donnie, who's just riding the wave of greatness and happiness because his Vikings are winning. Swazman says on the text line at 888-368-1580, hey, Randy, I'm rethinking my Super Bowl pick of Green Bay versus Kansas City. Now I'm starting to think Detroit versus Baltimore. What do you guys think? The Lions destroyed the Cowgirls yesterday. Yes, they did. Oh my God, yes. But who didn't see that coming? We'll talk.
I mean,
about
I didn't see it coming on.
I mean,
that's a different level than I thought, but we'll get there.
Big Jake, 7 rushes for 14 yards. Shakes head. Bad fish. Skull! We're not talking Vikings, bad fish. Silver Pup says, Randy, you stated the Cardinals didn't win this Sunday. More like the Cardinals gave no effort. See, I was almost thinking the same thing. And Keon mentioned it. He kind of flew by it, but it was like that team just gave up on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this team lose. I've seen this team get blown out. I've seen this team go through the ups and downs of an NFL team. But what I haven't seen them do until this weekend was quit. And that team, as far as I can tell, quit. Period.
It's too early in the season to be doing that, isn't it? I mean,
just a bit, maybe a touch of an overreaction to, I mean, the game was getting out of hand, but there was really no reason to lie down like that.
I mean, the Cards put up 10 points in the second half, in the second quarter, sorry, but they were down. I mean, they were already down 14 points. In the third quarter, all they could muster up was a field goal and didn't score at all in the fourth quarter. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this, Cardinals fans. I'm in the dumpster. I'll be honest with you. Kyler was 22 of 32, 214 yards, 1 touchdown. At least he didn't throw a pick. Trey Benson was 5 carries for 26 yards rushing, leading all rushers on the Cardinals. And then receiving yards, Trey McBride, 8 receptions for 96. I suppose if you have him on your fantasy team.
I do in another league, not the Blender League, but in another league. So that was pretty nice.
That was a good game, I guess. Jordan Love, nothing really to write home except he threw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. they only had 437 yards of total offense. Yeah.
250 of them was Jordan Love's passing yards. Christian Watson for 68 yards and a touchdown.
It's really, the Packers are an interesting team because they don't have a true number one at wide receiver, but they've got three solid number twos. And all of those guys scored touchdowns yesterday. Watson scored, Dobbs scored, and Reed scored.
And they got the criminal, Romeo Dobbs came back, right? I mean, the criminal.
Wait, why is he the criminal?
Didn't he just come back from suspension? For doing something wrong?
Conduct detrimental to the team, but I think that was a team suspension. It wasn't like he did anything legally wrong. I don't think
know of.
Maybe he did, but then you'd think the NFL would be involved, not just the Packers.
Maybe they will be.
Well, I hate to assume. We'll see.
Oh, man. 34-13, final score of the Cheese Whiz win. They moved to 4-2. Meanwhile, the Cardinals got to get ready for an exclusive Monday night football game, which is on ESPN Plus. Can I ask you, Keon, what is the purpose of having a Monday night game exclusively behind the paywall of the ESPN? Is it because the game is so bad, they feel like the rest of the world is not going to watch, and so the best thing we can do is put it behind the paywall, and only those who really want to watch this can watch it? Is that what they're thinking at the ESPN?
I don't think that's exactly what they're thinking. I think that this is just a way for them to try and get you used to spending your money on a streaming service. It's another one of those double Monday night football games again. So you got Ravens and Buccaneers in one, and then you've got, the Chargers and the Cardinals on the other one, and that's the one that's behind the paywall. And I'm not 100% certain why, because if you want people to pay for it, you put the better game there, but you also know that if you put the better game there, man, we're not watching that.
Well, because nobody wants to watch the Chargers Cardinals game. Come on.
I mean, I get that, but if you put it behind the paywall, you're just guaranteeing that no one's going to watch it.
Only us battle-hardened Cardinal fans and Charger fans will actually pay the money to watch opening my wallet to watch this on the ESPN Plus. I'm just not doing it.
Me neither.
All right. Well, there was some good news. There was some good news in the world of the NFL for your blender host. Jeffrey's Indianapolis Colts won against the Titans, or as some people say, the Titans. The Colts bring a clutch, gritty performance to the field and end up going into Nashville and stealing a 3-point win over the Tennessee Titans.
And I understand that part of this is just Will Levis, and Will Levis is not very good, at least from what we've seen so far. But less than 100 yards passing for Will Levis is embarrassing. It's just embarrassing.
Tony Pollard had a big 23 yards rushing touchdown.
Tony Pollard rushed for almost as many yards as Will Levis threw. If that tells you anything about the state of the...
If Dallas, and I'm just musing here, I'm just kind of thinking outside the box here. If Dallas would have held on to Tony Pollard...
I'm not saying that would have fixed all of their problems, because they still have a ton of issues. Their offensive line stinks. Their corners get beaten all the time. Their linebackers are slow. Their defensive line is injured beyond... I mean, Dexter's out. Micah's out. Like, they're just a... Tony Pollard, he's a better running back than Rico Dowdle. I mean, I wish Rico the best. I don't actually hate the guy, but like he isn't good enough.
17
the ghost of Ezekiel Elliott.
Tony Dallas's offense, he probably would have had even more rushing yards. But who am I? D-Hop for the Titans, 4 receptions in Tennessee. I don't think they know how to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins.
They don't know how, because Will Levis can't do it. Is the short of it. He's a very inaccurate. It's like watching somebody, just guess where they want the ball to go. Whereas you see the top quarterbacks in this league and the accuracy they have, they can drop it in a bucket. I would not describe Will Levis's accuracy in that way. In fact, I would describe it
3 or 4 steps back and throw it in the direction of D-Hop. You would think that DeAndre Hopkins, which he did, for the 2 years that he had him here in Phoenix.
And I know we bash Kyler, but just genuinely,
But you
like Will is throwing the ball that direction. I dare you to see where some of those land. 10 yards ahead, a couple of yards behind. He's not accurate. The guy stinks.
Somebody
say it like that because I'm not trying to kill somebody for going out there and doing the job they were given. Like Will Levis didn't name himself the starter, but it's one of the worst quarterback performances that you can watch on any given week is Will Levis and the Titans versus a halfway decent defense.
Will Levis, 16 of 27 for 95. Meanwhile, the Blue Horseshoes, Joe Flacco, the ageless one, 22 of 38 for 189, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Tyler Goodson, somebody by the name of Tyler Goodson, actually suited up and played for the Blue Horseshoes, had 8 carries for the Colts, 7 receptions, 66 yards and a touchdown. And the Colts get the win. 27 has the sort of the ends of his mouth kind of curl up into a semi smile.
I don't know. He's so cynical about his team.
Don't you think? I mean, somewhere
they beat the Titans, which they're supposed to do, and they're 500, which I think he had better experts ready to throw the whole team away before he went on vacation.
CK, how bad the Cardinals and Willow Murray are. You don't have to bring it up. I already know.
We brought it up first. Now
we're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your texts at 888-368-1580. We're talking more football out of the weekend. We still have to make a trip to the UK and talk about that Bears game. Keon's Washington D.C. Commandos, and that game against the listen, that was a damn good game.
That was a really good game.
I don't care who says what about it. That was a damn good game. All that and a whole bunch more here on the Daily Blender on this Monday here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSI Eyes in the Desert.
Major League Baseball postseason. The Mets and the Dodgers game 2 of the NLCS today. 145 on the run line. New York plus 120. Dodgers minus 145. Over under run total 8.5. Tonight, game 1 of the American League Championship Series. New York Yankees minus a run and a half plus 130. The Guardians getting a run and a half minus 155. The over under tonight in New York 7.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Ruben blocked the bill, and his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed a law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Carry this message. Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight along the way, from up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
CK on the text line says, sorry, not CK. Rainy City Bitch Pigeons says Army threw for more than twice the yards of the Titans. Army,
the triple option Army.
I was just going to say the triple option offense had more passing yards than the Titans. Wow,
it's bad air with today's rules. And DeAndre Hopkins on the team.
Silver Pops, by the way, says, Keon, did you just say Green Bay has solid deuces?
The number 2 wide receivers.
Number 2.
I didn't use the word.
See, that's kind of day it's going to be.
Yeah.
Solid number 2. That's where they got you. Aubrey's the best player Dallas has. Cowboys overrated.
That's not great. Your kicker can't be your best player.
He says, hey, Randy and Keon, good show. Your NFL teams both lost to it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the MLB. But I think it's going to be hope it's going to be a good series between the Mets and the Dodgers. It sure as hell
wasn't. But Mets Dodgers right now, they are in the 6th. Mets up 6-3 right now.
There you go. There goes that 33 inning scoreless streak for the Dodgers pitching staff.
They had a 5-run second inning. The Mets did. Mm-hmm.
I think the Mets. And when you buy a team like the Dodgers and you buy the players that team has, you expect them to go to the World Series every season. Although they don't, for one reason or another. I call it one excuse or another. But this year they all feel last year in the NLDS. Everybody's pulling for Yankees Dodgers series. I don't know why.
People are pulling for Yankees, Dodgers, or a Subway Series, which I'm actively rooting against that one. Because I can't imagine how insufferable the media is going to be if we have two New York teams in the World Series, and that's all we have to hear about. Do you know how many times that's coming up? Every commercial break. I'm already tired of it, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah, I won't even munch it, probably. Let's see here. Swazman says, Randy, ESPN Plus on Hulu is a big, the town for NFL Plus is on Hulu. That is a big, the town for the NFL like Prime has Thursday. What the hell?
The meaning of that text to where it doesn't make any sense. And I think you should resend that, but with the words.
Monday. You guys cannot send me text like that on Monday.
I'm just asking that you voice to your speech to text
is that voice to text business.
Yeah. And it doesn't always get the words right, or if you happen to
or if your window's down in your vehicle,
whatever it is the kids say,
or maybe you parrot that talks all the time, like Gizmo the parrot on your shoulder on your pirate ship as you travel around. I don't know. Okay. Is it really? Looks like somebody. The Cardinals got a taste of humble pie about that NFC North. Best division in all of football. Even the Chicago Bears are good. What are your thoughts on that one, Kia?
I mean, it's hard to own, one of the two undefeated teams in football, looking above 500, and not like a little bit above 500. They are well above 500.
Well, you got the Vikings, you got the Detroit Lions that are undefeated.
They're not undefeated. They did lose a game.
They did. Okay, so they lost the lineman.
The Lions lost to Tampa Bay in week 2,
and we don't even know it yet.
Yeah, well, they're currently tied with the Falcons in the NFC South, which is also a shockingly competitive division of football. What I didn't expect in the NFC was the NFC West to look like the shits of football.
Let's see. A couple more texts here, and then we'll get back to our NFL clearinghouse sweepstakes. The Lightning Roofer says, let's for viewers or hashtag Max Crosby and play Clayton Tune.
Okay, well, you can't play Clayton Tune because you don't actually want your locker room to give up. That's the thing with tanking is you have to still look like you're trying. And if your players are just bad, well, then, yeah, you're just trying, but you're bad. You can't play Clayton Tune because if Kyler's healthy and you're just playing Clayton Tune to deal with that, that's why a lot of tanking teams have continued to talk about playing hard football because they don't want to get caught tanking. Nobody wants to admit they're tanking. You're not supposed to. So they're going to probably still. This is the season where it might happen.
Also paying Kyler $250 million.
Yeah, so. but to me, it's like this is the year where you wanted to see what Kyler was anyway, because this is the biggest part of his contract. After this, it actually gets a whole lot more manageable to move on from Kyler.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think the Cardinals' loss this past weekend was completely Kyler Murray's.
Quarterbacks are elevating teams that are bad. Like the roster in Chicago is still not complete.
Well, look, I mean, Kyler's just not going to be that guy.
Yeah. And so, that's the reason why you kind of move on, not necessarily because it's all Kyler's fault, but the guy that makes your play calling right when it's wrong, or he elevates the rest of the roster, what you're paying Kyler, that's what you're paying him for. That's the amount of money. Like, say what you want about Dak. When Dak is not there, the Cowboys look significantly worse. Like that.
Go ahead.
He is kind of earning the paycheck in the and I go, boy, I can't believe they compete some weeks.
Just a thought, and this is a hypothetical situation. You trade Kyler for Dak.
Wow.
What happens?
What happened? I think the Cowboys get worse. The Cowboys have a very bad offensive line. I think Kyler needs not just a good offensive line. He might need a great one to really get the most out of him. And they just don't have it. Dak is used to playing behind a bad offensive line, and he looks all right.
So if we bring Dak to Phoenix and he becomes the starting quarterback for the Cardinals, how many of the quarterback here would you estimate the Cardinals would get?
I don't know. That he improves them, but
really,
this is not. I think so, because where that offensive line just lets him down, but he buys a little bit of time being, very subtle movements, and I was worse than Dak behind that line. I don't think they do.
Well,
okay,
overall stature.
Well, okay, then yeah, sure.
You could be worse. You could be a Jags, Browns, Cowboys, or Titans fan.
Quarterback is any of those guys.
Oops. Blind people love breast. What? About 5 minutes to think about that. You don't just blurt that out. That's just not acceptable. Ball games that we've been looking at. I don't know why he would have said that. Of course, you can follow along with the conversations. 888-368-1580. Lots of NFL. Chicago 35, Jacksonville 16. Everybody was saying on Thursday how Jacksonville plays so well in the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, the Bears just walk in there, don't want to hear any of that jive talking, and they just put a whap on Jacksonville. And I feel like Jacksonville's going to lose their head coach here anytime soon.
He got the dreaded vote of confidence a few weeks ago, and I wonder if you talked to Shad Khan today, if he would still say Jaguars have ever had. Because if they are, you got to fire Doug tomorrow.
You would have thought they would have done it if they were going to do it. You would have thought they would have done it because they're coming back from the UK.
They've got a bit of a time, but the next game is the Patriots. And these defenses, look at the defenses that the Jaguars have played this year. The Browns defense. That's a great defense. The Bills defense. That's a really good defense. I wouldn't say great, but it's a good defense. The Texans defense. That's a great defense. The Colts defense is up and down, and they won that game, the only win that they have this year. And they played the Bears defense. That's a great defense. Like, maybe they're not playing great teams, but they are playing great defenses. And it seems like the offense on the other side doesn't matter. The Patriots are going to tear the Jags apart if they're going to play football like this.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are 1-5 right now. Meanwhile, the Bears moved to 4-2. The battle of passing yards was actually won by Stacy Lawrence, 23 of 35 for 234, 2 touchdowns and an interception. However, the rookie Caleb Williams, 23 of 29, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, is really getting into his own rhythm with Caleb Williams. He had 17 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, the big tight end, Cole Kmet, 5 receptions for Jacksonville. Last year, I thought towards the end of the year, Jacksonville was going to come into this season being encouraged and a stronger. They were left at a gas station somewhere in nobody's around, and the bus left.
In Jacksonville, because Jacksonville's a trashy enough city for that to work, except that they're from Jacksonville. So it doesn't. I don't think it's fixable.
What's here? They were a playoff contender.
They were playoff last year, and then they just had a complete end of seams too. They weren't getting blown out. This year, vote race every single week that they play, they don't seem to have a lot. Looks worse. Times where he shows up on and you watch him, and he looks times he shows up, and it's like, man, what is this? He'll make a great throw, a throw that maybe him and 4 other guys have ever seen, that maybe him and only Will Levis are making. It's ridiculous. I think we can honestly say now Jaguars have a bottom 5 offensive line. It gets beaten well. And that means that they can't do any of the stuff with seems to really mess with Trevor, except that Trevor if you're getting paid to be a top tier quarterback, then nobody wants to hear about how the running game's roster and you're not doing it.
In the meantime, now there's some locker room. Coach Doug Peterson said he didn't his teammates when he made comments Bears in London that he thought there was a lot of quit, end quote.
I mean, of course he's called
teammates.
And he is correct. When you say there's a lot of quit in the Bears,
right?
Only, a couple of the Texans didn't even play good off you out. And
according to Cisco, the team had lost because penalties at crucial moments, mental mistakes such as getting a flag for 12 minutes, and dangerous, end quote. Dangerous. I didn't know. Sloppy, perhaps, but not dangerous.
He's saying, like, dangerous to us. You're trusting sometimes your blind side, quitting on a team, and you get hit really dangerous.
So it was in London over the weekend. And when we come back, and so far, leading up to our Monday Night Football matchup in New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. it's on Monday Night Football, 9-3, The Fanatic. Not on
Is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 365. It's never ordinary.
That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. What Bill and his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they didn't. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real and will secure the border. Support our families and never turn their backs on us. Carrie Lake for Senate. I'm Carrie Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love. Not someone who addresses you and your spouse as, bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Your home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Matt Flipper on the text line, triple line. Fire Peterson hires Salah, really? Because I know in the Bible, songs in the Psalms that there's this Selah. It's the pause.
Yeah, I think the E and the A are reversed in those.
I think you're right. Anyway, look how good Herbert looks with a good coach who takes some of the pressure on him. At the same time, all top 5, possibly 8 quarterbacks are also in the AFC. Go Niners. Thank you, Bad Flipper.
And it's funny that you reference Harbaugh there because you know who built this Jaguars team? Trent Baalke, who, Harbaugh and Baalke get into it, and Harbaugh gets fired from San Francisco. And now Harbaugh's back in the NFL. He's doing well. Bulky.
And Bulky's not. I mean, come on.
Not so much.
Rotting Moose on the text line says, hey guys, hope you had a good weekend. Any predictions on Monday Night Football? Sorry if I missed you if you already talked about. I think the Bills win. I mean, I think the Jets are in disarray right now, even with the new interim coach. I don't think it was Salah's problem. I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with the New York Jets tonight. I think the Bills just have it kind of going on. They're a more, a more real team, and I don't think they're going to let the Jets beat them. What do you say, Keon?
Yeah, I agree. I think a fully healthy Bills team beats a fully healthy Jets team, and I wouldn't say that the Bills are fully healthy. James Cook is dealing with a toe injury, but he's going to play tonight. So, as our guy, Scott, the fantasy football king says, if they think he can play, then you just trust him to go out there and do his thing. Mm-hmm. And if they're going to have a good running game with James Cook and Josh Allen, they just need to find a few more yards. I expect Kincaid to do an awful lot tonight, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I just think that the Jets don't have a whole lot going on for them. Their running game is not good. Their offensive line is the reason why the running game is not good. There's like a lot going on.
How do you throw the ball like 90s running the offense? And not Nathaniel Hackett or anybody else in that Jets locker room. There's no coach that's carte blanche to go out there and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean he always has. That's right. Like you can tell him to play, which they do. I mean, I don't think in the play, and if Aaron doesn't like it, Aaron's changing that at the line, and it doesn't matter what you call. It's a lot.
Yeah. So far this season, it hasn't worked out very well. And the receiving corps hasn't really caught any passes that have helped him.
I mean, Garrett Wilson is the one function. I got nothing for you.
Well, and that's the same thing, I think, with the Jacksonville. I mean, if you watch the game over the weekend, it's been the same thing for several seasons. Trevor Lawrence can't go out there, throw the ball, and run and go catch it. You got to have some wide receivers on that team to catch the football. And guess what? They dropped several passes that I felt like they should have caught.
And this is the Trent Baalke thing that I'm talking about to a degree, because he put three not catching the football. Whether you're talking about Gabe Davis and his struggles when he was with the Bills, Christian Kirk, who was here dropping passes, so we know what that's about. And then Brian Thomas Jr. is a really good player. There's a connection. There was some times where he passes, and those are pretty accurate passes. Like this team is full of guys. Evan Ingram didn't drop any passes yesterday, and he was the only one. 10 of 10 receptions on 10 targets, 102 yards. That's it.
And they do?
They do, yeah. It's a because technically this was the home game for the Bears, technically. And then they're going to play their London home game against the Patriots.
Yeah, see, Moist One says this passes.
It has to sing a lot, but he's forcing a lot because.
All right, let's
I thought it was okay. Any point this year, the Command they're still rebuilding. They're just
3 rushing touchdowns. Oh my God, he's being back as offense.
And I'm glad I didn't.
I tell you, Baltimore 30, Washington 20. It was back and forth there for a while before wins this game, is because they're at home. Fan base. I mean, I'm speculating on through the next 10 points. A win for the Ravens. The Ravens were expected to win this game. Washington was not expected to score 23 points. That's what I think. Washington scored 20 the last several years that we've been together, Keon. On the station here. That hasn't been the case.
No, it has not. You don't expect Washington teams to score a lot of points because they've never been well coached. I mean, if we're going to be just from Dan Quinn's philosophy on down about competing on every single play, you can see that that's the mentality that they bring out there. And you can also see the guys' game.
See, that's the difference right there. They have somebody behind the line of scrimmage running this team that they have belief in, that they have confidence in. And by the way, Jaden Daniels, what a game for him. 2 touchdown passes. He didn't give the ball up. No fumbles, no pickoffs. He was 24 for 35, 206. The team in rushing, 6 carries for 22 yards. I think that's where Washington is lacking. They need a good running game.
I think they actually have one, but Brian Robinson, their main back, ruled out Sunday morning. He's been dealing with the knee injury the last couple of weeks, and when he's in there, they can run the ball. But got just a brief taste of what, especially against that Ravens run defense, which was going to stop them anyway. It was really going to slow them down. But you take Brian Robinson out of the equation, and you make Austin Eckler your lead guy. At this stage in Eckler's career, he can be a second.
Lamar Jackson had a typical great day for him. 20 of 26, 323 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Derrick Henry yards and 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers led all receivers for the Ravens. 9 receptions, 132 yards.
And there was a point where the Commanders are down 30-23. They've got the ball in the fourth quarter away, and Derrick Henry made sure that they never saw it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Derrick Henry is back to Derrick Henry. He's got an offensive line, he's got an offensive coach, and he's got a game plan that he can follow, and he can shut down any game. I mean, fourth quarter, if you have the lead, just hand it to King Henry.
Game's over. That, and I think the other thing the Commanders struggled with was the Ravens kind of just did whatever. Like if the Ravens wanted to run, they were getting pretty good yardage on every run. If the Ravens wanted to throw it, I mean, Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers were carving that secondary up. You would have thought Thanksgiving came early the way they were cutting through it. It was bad. They have to fix that defense. That is genuinely a problem.
Yeah. Well, but you knew that coming in.
Yeah.
And you have a defensive-minded head coach. So I'm thinking it's going to get fixed.
It's going to get. And listen, 30 for how badly they were giving up yards. They didn't give up more. They didn't give up as many points as I thought. So, give some credit to Dan Quinn and what they've done over there, because that's boy.
All right, the next game before we do we have time? I don't think we have time. No, there it goes.
Yeah, just the moment you said
it. When we come back, Philadelphia at Cleveland. Baltimore. I'm sorry, not Baltimore. The Chargers in Denver against the Broncos. Pittsburgh put the hammer on Las Vegas. Detroit, speaking of hammer, sledgehammer Dallas. We'll talk about that next hour. And a whole lot more. And on this date in Big Georgia sports history, it's all right around the corner when we continue with this Monday edition of the Daily Blender. Looking at all the NFL games from this past weekend. If we haven't talked about your team, don't worry. We're going to. Coming up next here. And then at 4:30, it is Monday Night Football. The Jets are at home taking on the Buffalo Bills in what a lot of the talking heads on TV are saying, this is going to be a good game. No, it's not. Buffalo's going to win. It's a Daily Blender on the Fanatic.
Hey, sports bettors, Jeffrey O'Brien here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS.com. Football's back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. If you want a game plan to win this season, then check out BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season with a huge offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's right, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. BetUS offers value other sports books simply don't offer. Gamblers insurance, crypto bonuses, and casino live betting, odds boosts, and prop betting. When you're ready to lay down your bet, give your bet an edge. Why not combine your sign-up bonus with knowledge? Get that knowledge with expert analysis, picks, and predictions on all major sports on their very own BetUS TV. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call at 1-800-MY-BetUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
You may know me as Ruben Gallego, but I've had a lot of titles over the years. First, son, or mijo, by my single immigrant mom who worked so hard to make ends meet, and brother by my 3 incredible sisters. I've been called janitor, line cook, construction worker, doing any job I could to help out since we didn't have much. I earned the title graduate from Harvard University, took some of the heaviest losses in Iraq. I'm called congressman, proudly representing Arizona the past 10 years. But my favorite title of all is future I'm fighting for every day. That's why today, my title is Candidate for Senate. I'm fighting to lower costs and secure our border. I'm Ruben Gallego, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message, standing up for hardworking Arizonans like you.
Paid for by Gallego for Arizona.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold, plus a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert. 4 title races long. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
My name is Mary Grace. Early diagnosis is key, but make no mistake, it is a devastating disease.
There's a 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting at 40 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
It's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3.
Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of the Daily Blender. We only have 30 minutes in this hour before we kick it off to Westwood One and their coverage of Monday Night Football, bottom of the hour. My name is Randy White. Right over there, the sexiest man in Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. Jeffrey O'Brien still on vacation. Posted on that.
By the way,
Also, yes.
Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Mets up 6-3.
6-3 Mets in the NLCS over the Dodgers right now, and Chavez Ravine. Good for the Mets. Let's make this a series. You are the fourth dimension text in the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Talking all the games over the past weekend. May not get to hell has happened to Baker Mayfield. Him and the New Orleans and absolutely stomped the Saints. Yeah, true. Old eye makeup is not in the game. What the hell's wrong with him? I don't remember. Anyway, he was clutching his kidney. Pretty sure that's not it.
I don't know if that's it.
Some kind of a kidney area muscle impingement. Is simply had a day. 24 of 36, 325 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he had 3 picks.
He's going to put
Sean Tucker, somebody by the name of Sean Tucker, led all rushers in the game, 14 carries for 136 yards and 1 touchdown. Chris Godwin. Yeah, you heard me right. Chris Godwin, 11 receptions, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Spencer Rattler, I mean, he did okay.
He was all right, and for a rookie for Spencer Rattler, and he looked pretty good, especially in that first half.
The kid had 243 total passing yards and a touchdown. He threw 2 picks. Alvin Kamara only rushed, he carried the ball 13 times, only rushed 40 yards.
Yeah, and when they fall behind, I wish they wouldn't give up that.
Leading the Saints in Drunk on TV, I thought he was too old to play football. He had 2 receptions, 54 yards. Stumbled in. It was Foster Moreau.
Fabian Moreau.
Says here Foster.
Okay, well, could
be Fabian, I guess.
No, that's Foster.
Fabian's even better.
You're correct.
I mean, Fabian, the former number 1 rock and roll singer in the country from way back in the 60s.
Nope.
Summary. It's just, there's a lot of swashbuckling Buccaneer flags on here. Not so many fleur-de-lis.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the Buccaneer did it points. They didn't really give the ball away via punting. Baker threw it away for damn deadly, and they were going up against a rookie at quarterback, and that kind of proved the difference steps. And the result was that even though he looked good at times, just wasn't enough to even hang in this game with the Buccaneers.
Blue is my producer here in the studio is getting rambunctious. I think he's blue is. You look here and you see that the defense for the Buccaneers scored 1 touchdown, and look at that, a field goal, touchdown. Oh my God! Total yards 594 yards for the Bucs.
They punted once.
The Bucs had 277 total rushing yards. They averaged 8.3 yards per play. I don't think we have to say much more about this. Bucs 51, Saints 20. Over. Average Joe on the text line says, Keon, I know you might not know what a winning. They should go after Connor if Cardinals are selling. Hey, wait a minute.
I think that it would be cool for them to do that, but honestly, Brian Robinson is fine. Brian Robinson gets the job done. He just is dealing with the knee injury right now. It doesn't appear to be season ending. So they'll reevaluate him next week. I mean, I promise you, go look up the numbers. They have run the football just fine, but you can't have your lead running back injured in a week where you take on the Baltimore Ravens. You will look like you don't know how to run the football because that team does that to everybody.
Well, let's see. Pierre is on the text line. Is there Keon? Did you play hockey this weekend?
Why?
Oh, hell no.
We live in a desert, Pierre. What the hell is wrong with you?
Why would we play hockey?
It was 100 and some odd. What are you talking about?
He says my Montreal Canadiens are 2-1 today. Let's cheer on the Canadiens to victory.
Won't be doing that. You can do that yourself. I'm not interested in talking about the. Okay, whatever. Look, it's Monday, Pierre.
Yeah.
We talk about football on Monday.
He also says, I can't wait for the Buffalo Bills to put that old guy, Aaron Rodgers, into his place. Josh Allen is going to cut Gardner Sauce with a knife. What?
You mean Sauce Gardner?
Gardner Sauce with a knife? Easy.
Why?
Easy.
There's too many things going on here, and I'm only interested in like half of them. Look,
CK says, I don't think Wilbur realized his TTS was on.
His text to speech.
Oh. Swazman says, Keon, I'm pretty impressed by your Commanders. They competed even though they lost you.
Well, I appreciate that. The Commanders look really good, but this is a team with a coach who's in his first year with this team, with a quarterback who's in his first year in the league. I didn't expect him to beat the Ravens immediately. Yeah, I'm realistic about this. I did pick them, but I picked them mostly because how often do I get to say in my life, I think the Commanders could beat the Ravens? I picked them because I got to say it, and it made me feel really good. That's all. And then if I got the upset, I'd feel even better.
602 Pats fan says, hey, guys, what are your thoughts on Drake May? My thought is, thank God he's still upright.
He looked really good.
He did look good. He played
all
well.
Things considered. He looked really good.
Depending on how this week goes, he did all right, huh?
He did. I mean, obviously there were some mistakes. Obviously there were lows. He had the couple of interceptions. Didn't look great in those moments, but he stuck through it, and he just continued to stay aggressive. And when you look at some of the weapons on this team, it's not the best group of receivers. Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry, these guys have all kind of underachieved in New England, but he was able to get the best out of them, and that's pretty cool.
I mean, Boutte, come on.
I thought in the NFL, but you know what? Apparently him and Drake may have enough of a connection. Maybe there's more there.
Maybe if he would quit sitting in the rear of the meetings. Did you see what I did?
Because his last name's Boutte. Yeah.
Hurry back, Jeffrey. 888-368-1580. All right, Tampa Bay 51, New Orleans 27. What was going on in Philadelphia? They beat Cleveland by 4 points. Their defense looked good, but then they were playing Cleveland. Cleveland's defense looked good. If Philadelphia ekes one out in front of a crowd, meanwhile, the damn head coach was jawing at the crowds because they weren't cheering. Well, they're not going to cheer a 20-16 win over the Cleveland Browns. What do you want from them, Sirianni? But bottom line is Philadelphia ends up winning. I mean, they should have won that game, but they got through. They ended up beating Cleveland, 2016 final score. All right, the Chargers went to Denver. Kind of a scary sight when Jim Harbaugh had to go to the medical tent. How many times do you see a head coach wearing his headphones? His communication device.
Personally, that's a first for me.
The defensive coordinator had to step up. I forget what his name is right now, but Harbaugh had some sort of a arrhythmia, a heartbeat that's not beating in rhythm.
Yeah, and it's got a regular heartbeat.
Yeah, it's a little extra beat there somewhere. It can't find one, as drummers would say. So he had a bit of a scare. He went off, didn't know, coached the Chargers to a 23-16 win over Denver. Boy, that's something when you think about the kind of team that he's got to coach right now. The Chargers are injured everywhere. Yeah, they got a quarterback who's got a great future ahead of him, but he's got the foot issue or the ankle issue. I can't trying to do whatever he can to get the Broncos back on top of it. Orange and blue from back in the 80s and 90s. So Chargers won 23-16.
I mean, 13. It just feels like we were very far removed from when the Broncos were a competitive team. But like there are definitely some bright spots there. I just think that when you're going up against this Chargers team, all the Chargers want to do is run the football and play hard defense. Justin Herbert is kind of an accessory to the team, the way that Harbaugh was good. Actually, J.K. Dobbins, run game, it takes a little bit off of Herbert's plate, and you can ask him to make the big plays when you absolutely have to have it, instead of, hey, Herbert, bail us out every other play, which is what they had to do before. Now he doesn't have to do that, which is good because he's a little dinged up. I didn't expect them to be able to stop the run. Guys on that team are injured, a lot of them on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of them in the trenches on that defensive line. And they were able to still execute their game plan. They held Javonte Williams in check, and Javonte Williams has been having a pretty decent season. They held Broncos.
Yeah.
I really like the way that the Chargers approach this game. And I think that the way that Harbaugh does it, you can kind of see why he wins in so many places. He really doesn't ask his quarterbacks to do a lot. And then when it's carrying a team on their back the entire game.
Yep. So the Chargers slot, that is the big red horde that they'll be facing next week on Monday Night Football. We got to take a break. When we come back, we've got about 6 games to go to cover all the games that happened yesterday in the NFL. And we will try to do that and also finish up. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and then Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge. Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego, even Gallego and the Democrats, another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Carrie Lake. Carrie and the Republicans will secure the border. Support our family.
I'm Carrie Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Carrie Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's entertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is paired right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wager the cheers and tears that come alongside that. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself and Barkley and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
the Daily Blender as we head towards 4:30, the Monday Night Football game of the week. Brought to you by Westwood One in New Jersey. Triple A go. So let's get Pittsburgh aim away with a win. 32-13 final score there. TJ, what's his name? Aiden O'Connell's. Is that his name? Not Aiden O'Connell. The boss. Now that he's injured. TJ, think?
He's certainly in the conversation. You always have to.
Oh, yeah.
He's wasting away on the Browns. I mean, just a complete. It's sad that people don't watch more Myles Garrett because he's attached to our right arm breaker. So I feel really bad for the guy. I mean, he's in that grouping of guys where he's just an elite. Only bad things happen after that.
A lot of people talked about the Detroit-Dallas game, being that it was in Dallas. Dallas only 47 points. 47. Yeah. But they lost 11.5 sacks so far to a broken tibia. And he had surgery that night.
Yeah, he had to. I mean, that was a pretty gruesome injury.
Broke his leg.
You can't really see it. It's not.
And it snapped.
We don't appreciate. Oh,
You're right.
They're just playing a game. No, Aiden Hutchinson is going around the corner of an edge, and he is putting all of his leg as he this guy that sometimes breaks. Even takes to do.
So Detroit thumping Dallas as they move on to take on. I think it's Minnesota next week, and we'll wait and see what happens. Meanwhile,
Minnesota might score 82nd birthday yesterday.
And
Vikings might score the other points to get them to 82. I mean, it's
Triple A 368
performance
38-20. I don't think we need to talk too much about this. Bijan Robinson had a couple of touchdown runs. I seriously think this Atlanta team. We'll take him on the Cardinals if you don't want to. Kyle Pitts, another guy that I think is being underused in Atlanta. I don't understand why, but Red Rocket was in once again. Houston, I don't know what to think of the Texans because in one thing, Texans their offense just seems kind of bewildered. Do you feel the same way that I do? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's even necessarily bewildered, but there are times where they just look insanely, 20, 25 yards in big plays. And then there are some games where it just doesn't happen and they have to be a little bit more methodical. But those games, because it kind of exposes one of the weaknesses of the team, which is that they're a little impatient. They don't really like to slowly matriculate the ball up the field, as they say. Like they want to get it all in one go. And when they can't do that, I do think that they get a little exposed sometimes for just rushing it a little bit,
Texans 41 to New England's 21. Of course, Drake May, that was his season debut. Henry with a touchdown pass. He very composed. He didn't look like it was too much for him. He didn't play outside of his abilities. In the meantime, New England, you put Drake May in there, okay, great, but you've got so many problems. It seems like to me that you don't even know where to start.
Yeah, there's a reason why they fired Bill Belichick. It's not because he can't coach anymore. At least I don't think so. I think that Bill, the G team he built, this is the squad he put together. And do you see how bad this is? The fact that he was even close to winning games with this group of people is a testament to how good he is as a coach, because this is bad. Yeah. Everything about this is bad.
He had 40 yards passing touchdown for Drake. Although he always seems to be behind the rest of the crowd. I don't know why. Anyway, so that's it. Point thumping by the Texans.
I did have the Texans defense in fantasy football. That was pretty
well,
nice.
It
was a very nice day for me.
Happy New Year to you, Keon.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow is not a game. This was not a fun game to watch. I was watching part of it until in the third quarter. And good God, I was yawning. I had to actually watch golf so I could wake up.
I fell asleep and the game was over.
Burrow and the Bengals had one touchdown to speak of, and that was Joe Burrow running 49 yards, and he had a passing touchdown. It was just a bad game. Do we have to talk about it? Cincinnati wins.
We don't. Granted, the Giants do have a really good defense, but this is for what the Bengals are supposed to be. This is hideous.
Hefty Lefty on the text line says Drake to Boutte equals BBL Drizzy.
Oh no! How do we come back to that?
Joe, on this date in Big Georgia sports history? No. A fantasy football, by the way. What?
Okay.
Bat Flipper says he played game 1 and game 6. Who? Pierre, you guys didn't see the leg break. It was Kevin Ware bad.
Oh, it was bad. It was very bad. And I've seen recommended. Nobody looked at it.
Big George apparently got his. On one side, it shows you it says Big George. On the other side, it says T-licious, and that's who it actually is. Average Joe, my texts are not coming through, are they? Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
No, if you keep texting, it'll keep moving you to the back of the line sometimes.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So if you start spamming it, that you're not going to get your text read as quickly.
Average Joe also pens. Average Joe.
Well, good for you.
Yes, this is breaking news. Cook out for Bills tonight. Oh, damn it. Well,
that's a shame.
It's like Moist One's going to beat me again. I mean, in fantasy football. That's all I mean. By that. I've got about 6 texts left here. I am so sorry. I will read them though. We won't talk about them though. We only played once though. What? Moist One? What are you talking about? Yeah, but last year you beat me. What are you talking about, Moist One?